I love Johnny Depp, especially in comedic roles, but also in dramatic roles. However, he hasn't really done very much worth mentioning in the last decade. A few things here and there that have been decent, and I still haven't seen Black Mass. But for the most part, it's been more letdowns than not. And based on the critical response to this movie, my expectations weren't exactly high. But guess what? This is a lesson in ignoring the critics and going with your instincts. You should watch movies that look good to you, no matter what anyone else says. Because I almost skipped this, and I'm very glad I didn't. Because I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was genuinely hilarious. But not only that, the drama worked very well too. I found it to be surprisingly compelling. But what's the movie even about? Well, interestingly enough, it's about a professor who's diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer and is about to die. So he decides to live it up and have fun while it lasts. He's got a wife and a daughter too, and their relationships are, how should I put it, less than ideal and a little bit strained. So he's gotta work on that as well while making the most of his time left on Earth. And that's basically it. There's not much more to this movie. And if you look at it from a technical standpoint, it's sort of unremarkable. The direction, the cinematography, the editing, it all works, but none of it stood out. The only creative touch I really noticed was that the movie split into chapters, with this kinda amusing title, so that was sort of fun, I guess. But really, this is all about Johnny Depp and the writing. Because the writing is sharp and Johnny Depp seems to have a really good time with it. And to me personally, this might be the funniest movie I've seen all year. Based purely on how many times I laughed. I mean, I lost count. And I was actually really tired when I pressed play, but within like 2 minutes I was just having fun with it. It's also a very unapologetic movie that makes it pretty clear it doesn't care about political correctness. Without being annoying or insulting or going overboard with it. And as I said, it's not all about the comedy, the drama here works too. It takes the time to calm down and focus on some character stuff every once in a while too. And a lot of the time when comedies do that, it just doesn't feel right. It comes across as corny or forced or just doesn't mix well with the more lighthearted stuff. But in this it was handled so well on every level that it just worked. The writing didn't feel cheesy, the acting was really good, and the chemistry between all the actors was really great too. I especially liked the dynamic between Depp's character and his wife. It also spent enough time on those parts and kept coming back to it so it didn't feel rushed either. And while the plot might not be the most innovative or creative, and there's not really any twists or surprises to speak of, the movie still manages to cram a lot of stuff into just 90 minutes. And most of it works. I mean, there were a few things here and there I didn't really care for, all of them pretty much nitpicks. And here's the thing, it stayed consistently funny too. Even toward the end when it gets a little bit more serious, it didn't forget about the comedy. I mean, the actual end was honestly really dumb, but I laughed, so I can't exactly complain. And overall, I haven't had this much fun with a movie in a while. And you know what? I honestly kinda loved it. It felt like it was custom made for me. It's not the greatest movie on a technical level, I have to admit that. And as I said, it's not very innovative. It doesn't really do anything new. And there are a few issues here and there, but they didn't even bother me. Mainly because of the writing and the performance. They more than make up for all of that in my mind. But I also don't know how much rewatchability this movie has either. However, I'm perfectly fine with that too, and it doesn't really make it any less enjoyable. So would I recommend it? If you like Johnny Depp, absolutely. And if you don't, maybe give it a look anyway. Or don't, I'm not your dad. But I am trying to sell out, so consider liking, subbing, hitting that bell and supporting me on Patreon. Because I really need one of those old school Mercedes-Benzes. And hey, why not drop a comment below or check out another review? I'd appreciate it. Thanks.